Welcome to the ride with Wild Wayne Cartwright, an exciting thrill ride through the wonderful world of HBCU athletics. Before our trip begins, let's set a few ground rules. First, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Second, hit the like button. Third, please be sure to tell someone else about this show. Now that we've got these things out of the way, it's time for our journey to begin. Sit back, relax, and enjoy your ride.
Yo, what's happening, everybody? Wow, Wayne, I'm back just for a little bit. Y'all know it's the middle of track season, so, actually got to meet today. So what I wanted to do, I just wanted to come before you for a little bit. Shout out to everybody that's watching. Little bit of things going on. Sometimes you can view this as being a little bit of the dead period, but hey, in our culture, in our vernacular, there really never is a dead period because there's news every single day. So, y'all make sure y'all like the stream. Make sure that you, if you have not subscribed to this channel, make sure you do so. Follow me on all my social medias, all that good stuff. Okay. All right, y'all, let's get into it here on the ride today. A little bit of midday flavor. All right. Charlie Ward takes over at Florida A&M. So many of you have seen this. It's already on the 4-letter network. It's everywhere. So Charlie Ward taking over at Florida A&M, to me, is a pretty huge deal, pretty significant thing. Now, you guys know, everybody that follows collegiate athletics and follows HBCU sports very closely, like I do and many others, you know that there's been a good amount of high-profile hires that have come through the ranks, whether it's been at football coach with you've seen Prime, or you've seen Michael Vick, Deshaun Jackson, or you've seen it basketball. You've got Mo Williams down there at Jackson State. You've had a couple other former athletes, but this one kind of takes a little bit of a different flavor because of the stature that Charlie Ward really has. So a little bit here, 54 years old, Florida State graduate. All right. Dude was a phenomenal college athlete. In fact, one of the greatest college athletes of all time. Multi-sport athlete at that. Won the Heisman Trophy, national champion, ACC Player of the Year twice in football, carried him to a national championship, played for legendary coach Bobby Bowden. 4-year point guard, man. I mean, led the team, the Seminoles, to the Elite Eight his senior season. Play with the likes of Bob Sura, Doug Edwards, some of those guys, man. This dude was a hell of an athlete. And not just the fact that he was a hell of an athlete, he was a hell of a student athlete. Guy was very prominent in the community. He's a leader. First round draft pick of the Knicks, which is real crazy, the fact that he was a Heisman Trophy winner, but was not drafted in the NFL. Now, one of the things that he was asked about, and you might, those of you who might have seen his ACC network documentary called Twice as Nice, which talked about his journey from Dawsonville, Georgia, growing up all the way through Florida State, and then also finding his way to not being drafted in the NFL. Well, people had wondered, why wasn't he drafted? There was a lot of things out there about, perhaps he was undersized. Maybe he should have played a different position, or, just the fact that he really, really liked basketball. So he ended up going the basketball route, played 11 seasons. And that's what really matters right here. He played 11 seasons in the NBA. Now, he wasn't an all-star or anything like that, but he started in the NBA finals. And he played with the Knicks for 9 of his 11 seasons in the NBA, okay? But also here you see that he's been an assistant coach in the NBA and also a head coach at the high school level. And also something that I didn't put here is that he also had a stint with USA Basketball. So there are some things here that he's got going for him that you have to like about him joining and being a part of Florida A&M. Just the fact that he is a guy who is well known in Tallahassee. All right. Now, what does that mean in terms of his stature? How does that mean by, people drawing to the program or things like that? I think what it definitely does is it brings some instant credibility. Now, with him signing a multi-year contract, this is definitely a break from what was previously done under past regimes. Okay. Now, we know, shout out to Patrick Crary, who just took over at Grambling. He had a 1-year contract. Okay. Now, a lot of things have been said about that. I'm not here to get into the philosophy about his contract. But what I am here to get into is about what this hire does in terms of providing stability. Now, shout out to athletic director Angela Suggs. I spoke with her, met her in person at the Celebration Bowl. She's been on my platform before. I'm going to talk to her again. Very nice lady, very professional, knows what she's doing, getting the groundwork laid there, okay? This right here, this provides some instant stability and some credibility. All right. A guy with a background like this and somebody that's well known and somebody that's very eager to cut his teeth and forge a path now on the collegiate ranks. This is something that has to be very commended and it cannot be understated. All right. So, but with the excitement behind it, we have to be realistic about what he's inheriting. Okay, the last time that FAMU had a winning season, it's been a minute, man. Been a minute. All right, 2006, 2007, they won the MEAC championship that year. All right, in that time frame, he is the 6th head coach that's been hired. Okay, now you can say what you want about the struggles. Okay, some things that they've got going on down there at Tallahassee, they have a very nice facility to play in. All right. Al Lawson Center, it seats over 9,000. It's a very nice modern facility. Okay. Now they've had issues with being able to draw people to come and fill up the arena there. All right. Somebody like Charlie Ward, who's a Tallahassee legend, could perhaps draw more eyes and more fans to the program. Now, obviously, he's got to do some work on campus to get some people to come, some of the students and some of the locals that follow FAMU to come and come into the program. Okay. But something that he could be able to do is with his stature, he could get some people that are curious to come by, some of the casual ongoers that want to come and see what it is that he could possibly do. All right. I really like the hire. I've always been a fan of Charlie Ward. Charlie Ward, his football exploits was just phenomenal. But, and that's something that obviously made him a household name, but his basketball acumen is very strong as well. Okay, so fans down there in Tallahassee and, Steven, yeah, shout out to you, brother. Great hire by AD Angela Suggs. Rattler family is fired up, and you should be. You should be fired up by this hire because this is a very solid hire, man. Very strong guy. I wish Charlie Ward a lot of love and a lot of success down there, except when he plays Alabama A&M, of course. But I hope that he's able to get down there, get to work. Now, as you guys that have watched a lot of my programs before, you've heard me talk about transfer portal and NIL and all these different things. And I'm going to talk about transfer portal here in just a minute. A lot of times when you have a new coach that takes over, you've had issues with building programs sometimes because you're trying to recruit, especially when you get hired at certain points in the season or points in the off season where it makes it a little bit difficult to get some of your traditional, freshman recruits. Well, in today's day and age, with the transfer portal being as prevalent as it is, it's very wide open. Okay. Every single coach in America has the same outlook, which is we are trying to build a brand new team because that's what today's culture says. It says that you're building a brand new team year after year. So the uphill struggle that Charlie Ward may have had in the past prior to this transfer portal society, he doesn't really have that right now, because now he can just hit the ground running and just go looking for what he can get. Now, obviously, if there's any returning players, that has any eligibility left, you can possibly begin to talk to those guys and try to recruit them back. One guy that they are losing is the SWAC Player of the Year from last year who played for FAMU. Unfortunately, he's out there and he's looking to go to transfer up. But there's plenty of guys that are out here in the portal that they can work and look for and possibly obtain to get back down there to Tallahassee to start building this thing upward. Okay. So, Patrick Carreri did a good job when he was there for the 1 year that he was. Okay. 14-17 record. Definitely did a lot with what he was given. But now Charlie Ward comes in and he has an opportunity to do something big, and we'll see how that goes. So shout out to you, FAMU. Shout out to you, Angela Suggs, and shout out to FAMU family. Hope it works out for you. All right, moving on, guys. Let's talk about this transfer portal of basketball right now, okay? Now, the player of the year from these conferences have either committed somewhere else or still in the portal, okay? All right, player of the year from the Valley, all right, went to Drake, okay? He's already committed to go to Iowa with his head coach that he played with, Ben McCollum. He left Drake. He got hired at Iowa. He's following him, okay? Conference USA, the player of the year was from Jacksonville State, all right? They're in the state of Alabama. He's looking for a place, all right? You see the Patriot League Summit. I just talked about the SWAC Player of the Year. You got Sun Belt Player of the Year, Horizon League, Southern Conference. All these players of the year are in the portal or have not, or one has already committed, okay? So why is this significant here, ladies and gentlemen? It's significant because I want to bring to another point that I said when I was on previously. I said that once you have a guy or a girl that wins a player of the year and they've got any eligibility left, I'm going to tell you, most times than not, they're gone. And a lot of people, they get in their feelings and they get to worrying and they say, well, man, we can't really build a team because once we get anybody that's really, really good, they're gone after a year. And yeah, that's the nature of today's society and the nature of the portal era. Okay. And a lot of times it's not just about money. Sometimes it is, but other times it's about the fact that they want to try to see what they can do at a higher level. So what this signifies right here is, for those that follow HBCUs just like I do, a lot of times we like to just say, well, the people are leaving us. No, they're leaving these other places as well. And it's not even just these players of the year that are leaving also. There's a lot of guys who are all conference who left. First, second team players leaving, okay? Trying to transfer somewhere different for various reasons, okay? One thing that we cannot do, what I'll say with this right here that we cannot do, we cannot get into the habit of drawing these far gone attachments with certain players and even certain attachments with coaches as well. Okay. I know everybody loves to say, what about loyalty? What about commitment? Here's the thing about loyalty and commitment now. This is a 1 year process. Your commitment now is a 1 year commitment. That's all it is now. You get a guy on campus, you're looking to see what you can get from him for one season. You get a coach, you hope, if they boom, you hope that you can get a second season out of them after they boom. But most of the time now, guys at these levels, whether you're a player or a coach, if you succeed, a lot of them, they're getting a bigger offer, they're gone. These bigger leagues, they got money to pay these buyouts, you're gone. So I just want to encourage people out there to begin to start shifting your thoughts and shifting your speech away from things that were once was. A lot of people say, well, this is how it was when it was in my day. And when I was a little boy and I was growing up, guys stayed 4 years. You saw Patrick Ewing, you saw all these guys that played 4 years, man. Tim Duncan played 4 years at Wake Forest. You never saw a lot of movement. You saw coaches stay for 15, 20, 25, 30 years at a place. It's not like that anymore. You get what you can get while you have it. And what comes along with this is when your program is winning and on top, you got to enjoy the success when you have it. Because a lot of times we as fans, we get these expectations that once you did it, you win. We expect that it's going to be like this every year. Well, just like I said with Charlie Ward and all these other coaches that are out here right now, finding players, trying to do the best that they can to put together the next best roster for the next best year that they can have. That's what it is. 1 year at a time. And the quicker we can grasp our minds around that, the better off we'll be as fans. Right? All right. Next one. Spring football. Now, I've already talked a little bit at length about spring football and my feelings about spring football. Spring football really, y'all, it's just about what you can do to try to build and see what you can get installed, right? But the transfer portal window, it opened up today. So there's a secondary window that opened up today, and it runs through April the 25th. Okay. Now that we've got this secondary portal window open, this is the time where guys that maybe they weren't happy with things and situations with potentially some of these position battles. Okay. Hey, I might find myself potentially buried down the roster. They're looking for another home. Also, you've got, players that may have shined or shown some promise in a spring game. Coaches have seen some film. They think that player looks good. They're reaching out and they're finding them. Now, if you think that tampering isn't a thing, you truly are mistaken. Coaches are contacting guys left and right. And they say, hey, you look real good. You be a perfect fit for my offense or my defense or whatever, right? But in any event, this is running until April the 25th. So guys can go ahead on. They can put themselves in the portal and make themselves available for coaches to contact them and bring them into their programs particularly. But here's some of the positives with this window, right? You may have gone through spring practice with your group and you may have seen and found out that maybe perhaps my team doesn't look exactly what I think it should be. Okay. You might see that you've got some depth issues or you see a pending depth problem. So this is what teams can do. They can go through this portal and find some needs to get them equipped prior to fall camp. Now, a lot of people, they go out here, they start talking about how their team looks during spring football. Oh, we got so much better. Yeah, whatever. What your team looks like, what it looked like during spring football is not necessarily what it's going to look like when you get to fall camp. You're going to have new guys that are going to be on that team. It's just what it is. Every team in America is going to have new guys. There are going to be guys who were there during spring football that won't be there when you open fall camp. Okay? There's a lot of guys. There are guys who are expected to be starters, right? Through spring football. The coaches go in the portal. They find somebody. Guess what? That's your next competition when you get to fall camp. That's just what it is. Now, can it be iron sharpens iron? Can it make your team better? Perhaps. Could it lead to a break in your team's chemistry? Perhaps. There's risks all over the place. But the best coaches that know how to do it and manage rosters and manage character, these are the guys that do masterful when they go through these situations. Now, the last point here that's important to know is that teams are going to cut players from rosters. Why? Some of you might have heard about that pending NCAA House settlement. It has not been completely ruled upon yet. They've had hearings on it, but it hasn't been completely ruled upon. But you know that there are some roster limitations that are on the table. And guess what? Teams are cutting players and working right now ahead of the curve just in case this gets put in prior to fall camp so they have the necessary players under the limit or at the limit. So this portal window, you're going to see guys heading out just like it did during the fall window, right? Right when the season ended, that's when December came. You saw guys going through the portal. This is the exact same thing. Now, let me also say something else about this portal, y'all. At this point, you pretty much need to assume that every player in America is in the portal until they tell you that they're not. You just need to assume that. Every single player is in the portal. Because I know everybody likes to put out these different things and they say, oh, look, this player's in the portal. Oh, look, that he's in the portal. And then, you see these different things, which makes me laugh too. You see the player, they put this stuff on Instagram or on X and they'll say, after much consideration and prayer with my family, I've decided to enter the transfer portal with X amount of eligibility remaining. It's like, you know what, man, just you're gone. We know it's a business decision. You're gone. Now, whether it's been informed or misinformed, that's neither here nor there at this point. But one thing you got to understand is that pretty much people are fair game at this point. Until the NCAA comes up with any kind of significant guardrails, any kind of commissioner, any kind of standards that keeps things in place where there are rules and things to follow, just know that every player on every roster in America is fair game. And money also talks. And man, especially when you might not have much of it. Especially when you come from a family where, man, moms is struggling, dads is struggling, whatever. There are opportunities that come awry, man. And sometimes players, they just looking to transfer to capitalize on what they can get. There are some guys you don't know in this sport, man. You can get hurt tomorrow. Your career is cut short. There's a lot of players that don't make the NFL. A lot of players that don't make any professional football or don't make anything professionally. They're looking for something to just have, what they can capitalize on. And so the portal, it's open. And you're going to see a lot of movement. So you keep your eyes on it. Okay. All right. That's a lot of the stuff that we've talked about today, right? It's a lot that I've covered here just in this short little 23 minutes. All right. The other thing I want to just say here, I want to kind of talk a little bit about, the situation with Nico Iamaleava at Tennessee. Okay. You guys know him. Everybody knows who he is by now. Quarterback, held out of spring camp, was looking for $4 million. He was already being paid 2.4. Okay. The kid's been dragged through the dirt. Everybody's been saying a lot of stuff about him. Oh, how this, that, whatever. Okay. My point here is what I want to say is a lot of people, they've had comments about what has ruined college athletics. People say the transfer portal has ruined college athletics. People say name, image, and likeness has ruined college athletics. People say lack of commitments has ruined college athletics. People say. Okay. All right. This is what I want to say according to Wild Wayne. The persons whose fault it is about why college athletics is where college athletics is, it's actually all of us. It's fans, it's parents, it's coaches, it's administrators, it's media. It's everybody's fault. Now, why is it our fault as the fans? Okay. The pressures to win are higher than it's ever been, right? Remember back when you could just have a program and you just, hey, he's got to get some time, got to build his recruits, got to give him some time. Us as fans, we ain't giving anybody time. When a guy gets hired, or a lady gets hired, we're looking to win right now. And if you don't win, you know what? Get rid of them. It's on with the next one, right? So there's a lot of pressure that we put there, okay? And what comes with that, the residual effect of the pressure that we put on these coaches and these players, it comes with the pressures of dealing with failure or being the fear of having failure, right? So that ruins college athletics. Okay, media members. Yeah, I know. Shout out to those that are in the media. Y'all get paid to have to write these blogs or come up with certain things for clicks and for likes and all that. We get it. We get all that. But a lot of things that get said by the media about college athletics and college athletes and college coaches, they talk about these dudes like it's the LA Lakers, the New York Yankees, and the LA Dodgers. Like they talk about it like they're pros. And we seem to forget that these are 18 to 22-year-old kids that are still figuring out adulthood. Likewise, you've got coaches that are still trying to adjust to an ever-changing landscape that won't seem to get right or stay in place for longer than 5 minutes. Okay? So you've got a lot of that. Then what's also messing it up? You got administration messing it up. You got college, presidents. Some ain't never put on a chin strap. Some ain't never put on a jock strap, right? Telling you this is how things need to be. They got pressures to try to win because they're looking to boost enrollment. They're looking to boost finances. They're looking to do whatever. And sometimes in the process of doing that, they get desperate and do some dumb things. Some stuff that just don't make no sense. You got a lot of colleges and moving leagues, moving conferences, probably ain't had no business moving. But sometimes they move because they're chasing a better TV deal. They're chasing, something, whatever it is. Okay. That's administration. But also coaches. You got a lot of coaches now that have changed their philosophies as the wind switches directions. You've had coaches, some of the legends that have left here, Coach K, Nick Saban. You've had other guys like Tony Bennett at Virginia, right? Guys that said, you know what, I got to get out of this thing because I can't deal with the ever-changing landscape and the demands. Nick Saban, he went on record, he said, listen, it used to be fun to do recruiting. It used to be fun to talk to kids and tell them about, what it means to come to the University of Alabama, what it means to get a solid education and be a great young man. But that's been substituted for how much is my son going to get? How much money are you going to pay for my son? Now, the market has allowed all of this. And the best that have been able to survive thus far are those that have been able to adapt. And sometimes adaptation is just not for everybody. Adaptation in an ever-changing market requires a lot of strategy. And sometimes with strategy, it requires for you to make sacrifices that you just morally don't want to make. Sometimes you got to cut a kid just because they aren't helping you get the extra zero that you may need in your contract. Sometimes cutting that kid may be the difference between you keeping your job and not. Sometimes cutting that kid may be the difference between you keeping your staff together or not. So there's a lot of factors out here that put us where we are. It's everybody's fault. But guess what? The thing that's going to help things is when folks start taking this word, accountability. When people can start accepting the fact that, hey, we are the reason why we are where we are, things will start to turn around. Now, from an HBCU aspect, where we have to be in this adaptation phase, look, man, we just got to embrace this 1 year at a time principle. Get the best team you can. Get the best coaching staff you can. Get the best leadership you can. And when you get the best leadership and the best teams, the best players you can, man, it'll help you. And you know what? The other thing you can do, don't change your philosophy and don't change your philosophy in terms of you're looking to build solid young men and solid young women. Never stray from that. Because if that's your standard of trying to build great young men, great women, that's always going to be positive. Because a lot of this money, I have a feeling there's things that are going to change when this settlement eventually goes through. Because when people realize that there's going to be set limitations and caps on things, people are going to start to understand that, look, maybe I'm going to do better by just staying where I'm at. There's a lot of things on the table that we need to keep our eyes on in the coming months, but I'm just urging everybody out there, don't stop supporting who you support. If your team's losing, okay, look, I know, get rid of them. Get rid of them. Get somebody else new in. Listen, man, stick with them. Believe in them, because believe me, there's not a single coach and a single coaching staff out here that wants to let its fan base down. Not a single one. They don't set out and just say, you know what, let's see who we can piss off this year. No, there's not a single fan, there's not a single coaching staff that's looking to do that. Everybody wants to be a winner. Trust me on that. But guess what? Everybody doesn't know how to win. And that's part of the chase. And that's part of the action. Learning how to win on the field, but also learning how to win strategically. You build a strong marketing base. You build a strong foundation, looking ahead with the common trends. And those that will adjust to an ever-changing market and stay strategically competitive, those are the ones that will make it. Those that stay stuck in the past, you're done. Those that say, well, we're looking to build guys and keep people here for years, forget it. It's not happening. Those that get fixated on, well, these coaches, they gave their word, forget it. You know how many times everybody, even some of y'all that are watching me right now and those that are going to watch this back on replay, you know how many of those of us have said that we were going to stay at a company for a long time? We all have. Everybody said it. You all have. I have. Yeah, I'm looking to be here for a long time. There is no place that I'd rather be than right here, right now. And guess what? You get exhausted. You need to hit a reset button. Hey, you looking to get a little bit more money. So you're looking to make a move. It's the same thing, man, how you look at it with college athletics. And if you look at it one year at a time, you'll be better. So those that are building football programs, as I head into my final moments here, these teams that are building football programs, right? Just look and just see how they're building it for this season, man. Right? Now, Jackson State, they've got a leg up because they've been able to keep some of their key guys. Now, that's the other thing, man. If you can keep some of your key guys from year to year, like in football, if you can keep your quarterback, oh my goodness, man, that does some wonders. If you can keep some of your leaders on defense, whatever, your locker room voices, that helps you. Jackson State, they were able to do that. Shout out to them. You've got some teams out here that got new coaches. My team, Alabama A&M, building something new. Have no idea what they look like. But guess what? We'll pay attention over the coming months, right? You got teams like Southern, who won the West last year in the SWAC. Looking to get themselves and find some footing. You got Grambling. It's been a while for Grambling, looking to find their footing. FAMU, they took a little bit of a step back last year. They're looking to get into the fold. Norfolk State, man, Michael Vick taking over. A lot of expectations. You don't know what's happening. Guess what, though? South Carolina State, Chennis Berry got that sour taste in his mouth from what happened in the Celebration Bowl. They got redemption on their mind. There's a lot of teams out here looking to do something big. But you're not going to know what it is from spring football. You'll know what it is when they get into fall camp. So, we've got a lot of things up this road. But today, I just talked to you about Charlie Ward. talk to you about the portal, which I'll show to you one more time because a lot of people they still wonder about this portal. Runs through April 25th. It's quick, okay? Real quick. But players will be getting in it if they have not already done so. But guess what? What the portal taketh away, the portal can also give back. You can get some guys in your program also. All right. Midday time, man. I appreciate everybody that has come on and has watched this. Make sure you like the stream. Make sure you share this channel with somebody else, man. I'm Wild Wayne Cartwright. I love y'all, and I'll see you next time. Peace.
Thank you for joining us on the ride with Wild Wayne Cartwright. As you exit the ride, make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel, hit the like button, and catch up on all of our prior episodes. Until next time, God bless.